Report. It's Brian here checking in with you, and I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, rejuvenated and ready to tackle this week and get important things done. Of course, it is the Economic Report, and I'm here sipping my coffee. Let's get down to business. Of course, we said at the very beginning of the show, we will go ahead and cover some interesting stories here about rare earth minerals. You really don't want to miss this because it kind of helps us better understand maybe what the future holds and maybe some choke points in the rare mineral area. We'll also cover crypto and gold. So it's a pretty good show here today. And once again, we will last as long as, well, this cup of coffee lasts. And with that, I'm here to remind you to make sure you are subscribed, hit likes, leave comments in the chat section. I will respond to appropriate comments in chat. And of course, by now, of course, we know that there's appropriate and inappropriate. And there's a certain stuff we don't like. It's just me. And that's just the kind of guy I am, and it's really the kind of show I want to run. So I want to make sure that we're keeping things real and keeping things on the keel. So let's go ahead and jump into this right now. We're going to go ahead and cover the first thing, which is a good story here about rare earths. And what we're finding out is China. Yes, China, our friendly rival, really stands to be in a position where, well, they're controlling some of the choke points of rare earth minerals really needed for our defense industry. That's a huge problem, and that also means that we are kind of relying on an adversarial slash friendly adversarial nation to supply us with the things that are critical for our defense industry. For instance, a company like Lockheed Martin, ticker symbol LMT, by the way, if you're following, Lockheed Martin makes all kinds of critical components for our defense weapons, whether they're jet fighters, whether they're naval missiles. You get the picture. And the fact is, they need to have a reliable supply chain to produce. And if they don't have a reliable supply chain, then all of a sudden we have trouble. And that means that their costs go up because they're searching for other places to get these minerals. And I got to be honest with you, maybe it's a completely important place for us to be in this process right now, the conversation we're having, because you can't rely on China for strategically important minerals, or you're really going to be in trouble because they could be conceivably one of our rival nations of the future. Hey, welcome to the ER Report. It's Brian. We are live this morning. We're talking. All right, Blossom, welcome. Glad to have you here. All right, make sure you are liking and subscribing. Drop a comment in the chat, and I will respond. Of course, today we're talking rare earth minerals. We're also talking about crypto and gold, and of course, responding to appropriate, and I do mean appropriate, comments there in the chat section. And by now, we all know what appropriate and inappropriate is by now if you've been following this channel. So we're picking up the story and, of course, talking about rare earth minerals and why these things are so critical to the United States, right? For instance, things like germanium, right? It is a rare earth mineral, and it's really used inside the defense industry. And companies like Lockheed Martin that produce all kinds of components inside of jet fighters, missiles, stuff for the Navy, needs these things. And, of course, can you really count on China, once again, a rival nation, to come through for us? And of course, that answer is no. And we've done this to ourselves. We've become addicted to minerals and things from China. And now we are rethinking our supply chain. And it's a real appropriate time to start doing so, because I think we have somebody in the White House whose actions will actually match his rhetoric, if that makes any sense. And with that, Sandy, welcome. Glad to have you here. And with that, just an understanding that there's, without a doubt, somebody that will at least try to match what the rhetoric's all about inside the White House and really push for new relationships, new opportunities for rare earths. And of course, those components, for instance, a rare earth magnet is used in electronic cars. These are things that, well, we need from China right now. And of course, that is one of one of our things here. So it's just something to be like super mindful of more than anything. Does anybody have any questions about this? Because I will move on to the gold and cryptos here. And with that, oh yeah, it does stink without a doubt, but this is something we've got to go ahead and move our game forward on. Let's go ahead and talk gold, because gold is really on the move here once again. KITCO, that stands for Kitco, and we'll talk in gold spot prices. You know, I'm listening to the radio this morning on the way down to the gym, and sure enough, I hear an advertisement for why everybody needs to own gold. Okay, I understand some of this. Yeah, well, Blossom, I'm here to say just for our purposes, it's really an important thing for us to pay attention to when you talk about rare earths. So make sure you're following that. It's maybe it's just a small point where you have understanding about what rare earth minerals are and how those rare earths really impact a lot of other things, like futuristic type things, and I think we'll be on to something. Once again, make sure you are liking and subscribing here, folks. I'd love to share our daily content with you, whether they are shorts. And yes, yesterday I just shared my short with you on a Costco trip. It was fun. And I'm just saying, Blossom, you are amazing. So with that, thank you for subscribing. But I also try to take things from DC politics, Wall Street economics, and bring them down to Main Street. That's really one of the themes of this channel, and so we want to make sure that we're doing so. Let's take a look here at gold, if we could. Gold is currently trading at $3,382 per ounce, right? Now, we're talking about not very heavy. If you know what an ounce is, it's not that much. And of course, that's a pretty significant bump there. It was trading like just 2 weeks ago at 3,333, so up another 50 bucks. And with that, we're talking about a couple percent increases over time. Now, I want to remind you, if you're talking about this from an investment point of view, think about it. If you had money sitting in a savings account, for instance, you might get a 1.5%, 2% turn over the course of an entire year, right? And gold, on the other hand, if you had money in gold, that percentage increase was over the past 2 weeks. And so that's kind of what I want you to be super mindful of. I'm seeing your comments there in the chat right now, Blossom, just making sure we're saying. All right, Martin, how are you today? Marcella, good to see you here. Welcome to the Economic Report. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. So that's gold here, and I just want to make sure we talked gold there at least for a moment, because it really is of critical importance to understand the role that precious metals play. It's out there. I'm going to go ahead and check silver as well, because silver has been up and down, and I've seen it trading somewhere about $35 an ounce. We'll see where it's at today, and then we'll go ahead and pivot on over to crypto. Crypto, silver, we are looking at, all right, 37.23. So today it's up almost an entire percent. It's up 27 cents. And so I'm throwing that out there to you as well. It's of critical importance to understand that, well, precious metals, they go up, they go down. And I've invested in those before. And I'm here to tell you, if you got a stack of silver coins, they're nice, Blossom. Glad to have you back. If you have a stack, 100 ounces of silver coins, you ask yourself, well, the question, what do you do with them, right? I guess you could go down to a jewelry store, try to sell them, or those We Buy Gold, We Buy Silver places, try to sell your product there as well. So they're not necessarily as liquid, and those people, once again, they're not looking out for you, they're looking out for themselves. And of course, so just because silver and gold are trading at a certain price, you want something that's relatively fluid so you're able to trade that. Because once again, a coffee can filled with silver, well, it's a little bit more difficult to move that product, right? And so they do have electronic markets for those things as well. You can buy the miners, that's oftentimes, or you can even buy an ETF that trades gold and silver there as well. And what if they say no when I try to sell? Well, hey, you know what? That's actually a pretty intelligent question. So, um, what I've done, and I can only speak from my own personal experience. I did have some silver that I wanted to move at one point in time. Refinancing my home, I said, "Well, it's time to move this product." So I simply went and put uh, some advertisements out on Facebook, put some on Craigslist back in the day, and I had a few different people contact me, and then one guy that was super serious, and I actually drove out, met him at a police station because I think it's a pretty good place to do business from, particularly when you're talking about a decent chunk of change. And we made our transaction. He got his silver coins. Uh, and I've got my cash and went ahead and refinanced the house back then. So that was a really a good move on my part. It was a great investment, and it's still paying a significant dividend for me. And that guy got what he wanted, which was some silver coins. So I'm just saying that, Blossom, that's one of the ways you can do things, of course. Uh, there's always somebody out there looking, and there are usually people who want to deal in cash. So just make sure you're being really super careful. And I want to remind you that too, that always looking at the change you get back is never a bad place to be, because once again, I've mentioned this in almost every one of the lives. When you look at the side of a silver coin, you'll see silver on one side. 1964 and back, when you talk about U.S. currency, um, you'll have a marking of silver all on one side. Anything from like 64 to the present. And we're talking usually some kind of a reddish tint on the side there as well. When you take a look at the side of a coin. So that's usually the way that you're going ahead and marking these things. And just once again, it's the kind of things that raises your awareness, if anything. Maybe you don't have time for that. I've always, even since I was a kid, I went ahead and uh, did that. So, well, Blossom, I'll catch you later. But we're going to continue the show, and we're moving on to crypto. Does anybody here hold crypto? I'm curious. Anybody hold or at least follow crypto? It's worthy of checking out here as well, because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this market as well. I don't know where things are going, but I do know that this really is a significant market to follow. Wow. All right. So you've seen Bitcoin trading up and trading down. I saw it like 2 weeks ago, trading at $120,000 per Bitcoin. Look, it dropped down to 115. So think about that. I mean, who here could really afford a $5,000 hit? But people say, no, 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 it's just a market. It's just a technical sell-off. And today it's up 1,125 bucks per coin. That's a lot of money. And we're talking roughly about a 1% increase in that as well. So I'm sharing that with you because there are things to learn more about, not just the trading part of the crypto, but also what exactly the crypto is going to be used for. It's supposed to be maybe really the future of AI in many different ways, the way the transactions will be processed in the future. So that's another important theme to pay attention to. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Ethereum, which is another hot crypto coin. Okay, up, oh, goodness sakes, up to 36.51 per coin, and that's 154 bucks today. Wow, man, it made a big move. It's like up 4% in one day. All right, think about that for a second. I use the savings account as your baseline, right? If you have a, 500 bucks in your savings account over the course of a year, 1.5% maybe interest over the course of a year. And we're talking really like practically nothing, like, not much money at all. And you go ahead and you take a look at an investment like maybe crypto, for instance, Ethereum. If you're on the right side, wrong side of that investment, you're up 4% over the course of a day, as opposed to over the course of an entire year. So I will tell you, and I do give a disclosure to the viewers of this channel, I do own a couple of Solana coins. I'd actually gotten into a conversation with a number of people. I was at a party talking to some younger people, and the young people are fun. talking about these types of things because they kind of help you see some of the technical trends out there that you don't necessarily see. Uh, and with that, um, they were talking up crypto. This is a few years ago, and so I went ahead and picked up some Solana because of its a whole bunch of reasons. And looks like Solana sold off from last week. Over the past 2 weeks, it's sold off roughly about boy, it looks like it's about maybe about 10% to 20%. So it is a pretty significant sell-off. Today it's way up, but of course the downward trend would say that it lost some money. And me personally, I'll give you complete disclosure. I'm only up about 25 bucks on my transaction there. There was a little bit of FOMO from me. There was a lot of curiosity, more importantly, about like what is crypto and what could crypto do. So I did make a very, very small piece of my portfolio is in cryptocurrency, and I made the decision for Solana, and I think I'm going to hold on to that. Maybe add a little bit to it, and of course, I'm trying to do as much stuff as I can, possibly through a Roth IRA in part because that is tax free, right? Think about that for a second, folks. Tax free savings. It really does matter. And for everything you put in, you can take back out because that's after tax money. But of course, you can't take the interest out. But can you imagine having maybe by the time you're ready to retire, 100, 500,000, $1 million inside of a Roth IRA that can be withdrawn with no tax penalty? And if you do that, you're doing something really, really super powerful. And it's just something I wanted to mention to you, the power of a Roth IRA. And once again, if you're watching this channel, whether you're 18, whether you're 25, I've got a couple of my own children here that are in the workforce now. And I'm like, you must buy or you must set up a Roth IRA and make sure you're funding it on a regular basis, in part because you'll thank me one day. And with that, I've pushed both of my children who are into that, so I will be doing that as well. So with that, folks, I got a little bit of coffee back. Does anybody have any questions for me over anything today? Whether we talked rare earth, we talked crypto, we talked anything like gold, precious metals. Anybody want to talk stock market? I can go ahead and look up a couple of things here as well. Fire away, because I do have a few minutes left here, and I have a little bit of coffee left. So with that, anybody going once, going twice? All right. Hold on here, Mohammed. All right. Mohammed, every day is a great day, pal. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing well today and making today count, bud. So thank you very much, Mohammed. I appreciate that. Hey, folks, if you want to drop in, hey, feel free, drop in the country you're from, or if you're from the United States, go ahead and drop your zip code in there as well. I'm always curious about who I get on this channel. I get so many interesting people, and I do get a lot of people throughout the entire Anglosphere, particularly in my long form videos. You go ahead and look at my audience participation, about 60-65% of the people from the United States, but I've got a significant group of followers from Canada, another 5 to 7% from the UK. So I really do have a worldwide following here on the Economic Report. Part of the reason because I always say that, hey, common culture, common language, common banking system, and at the end of the day, the Anglosphere really is in this all together because most people are counting on that U.S. dollar, and of course, we are all have some common cultural ties there as well. But with that, of course, you've got, we are a nation of many nations here in the good old United States, so I want to make sure that we're thinking about that as well. And of course, all relationships to all places throughout the world, critical importance here. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, you have been absolutely amazing. I really do. Are you a Muslim? If not, what do you think about Islam? Well, I'll tell you what, the vast majority of people, Muhammad, I'll share with you for sure. Very, very decent people, right? The bottom line is it's how you show up and how you're treating other people. Me particularly, I'm a Christian, but you know what? I've got friends from all different types of walks of faith, and with that, it's your actions, your attitude that really represent who you are and what drives your cultural beliefs. So, with that, I just want to make sure you're understanding that, hey, do good to others, be kind to others. And if I could share one final thought with every single one of you folks, the bottom line is the biggest battle you fight really is the one between your ears over your clarity of action, your thoughts, your attitude, and how you treat others, right? And so make today count. And guess what, folks? Smile and say hello to people. That doesn't cost you a cent, and you brighten up somebody else's day. Have a great day, and I will catch you later. Make sure you're subscribed to the Economic Report so I can continue to deliver right to your inbox. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great day.